Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Back on the topic of baseball today, episode 303. It has finally happened for you baseball fans. George Springer has signed with the Toronto Blue Jays. He's parting ways with Houston. Pending a physical, he is going to Toronto. This is really big. Before we get into that, question of the day. The Toronto Blue Jays have 2 World Series championships, 1992, 1993. The 1993 World Series came to a conclusion with a walk-off home run by which famous Blue Jays player? That classic home run strut. I know we've seen it before, but what is his name? Correct answer again. First comment will be pinned. But let's get right to this video. George Springer to the Blue Jays. $100 million deal. Likely to be 5 or 6 years, so roughly $18, $20 million a year deal. I think this is huge for the Blue Jays. When you look at the Blue Jays, they are filled with young talent in the infield, from Kevin Biggio to Vladdy Jr., Bo Bichette, and their outfield with veteran Randall Grichuk, and then Lourdes Gurriel Jr., of course, the Astros, Gurriel, Yuli's younger brother, who had a huge postseason last year. Of course, the Blue Jays went out first round wild card against the Rays, who won the AL last year. But Gurriel had like 8 hits through 2 games. He really tore the cover off the ball at the end of last year, so he is a rising star. Not to mention that shortstop with Bo Bichette, and then Kevin Biggio, who plays second base and first base, I believe. And like I said, Vladdy Jr. in the infield. This Blue Jays team is literally the youngest yet most talented team in the league, and I absolutely love what they have in hold or what they have in store for the future, especially with this addition of George Springer. Again, $100 million deal. That's what was reported. Of course, nothing is absolutely final. But like I said, George Springer is going to be there for 5 to 6 years, and I think he's going to be a mentor in the outfield and a huge addition at the plate. Just looking at some of his career stats, of course, 3-time All-Star, 2017 World Series MVP. I mean, career batting average of .270. That's certainly above average. Really, George Springer is a postseason guy. His career postseason average is above 300. He really comes up clutch when you need it. We saw him last year with the Astros struggle early in the postseason, but when it came down to the end of the series with Tampa Bay, where they went 7 games, he really showed up at the end and almost brought him back from a 3-game deficit. So George Springer, again, solid career, like I said, 270 career average, 174 home runs in his career, drafted in 2014. He's really just a great addition to this team, without a doubt. And I think this puts the Blue Jays into an absolute conversation for a considerable playoff run. If you look at the AL East right now, Red Sox under 500 last year. Orioles, one of the worst teams in baseball last year. Yankees, World Series, or I think a favorite for winning the AL this year. And I think the Blue Jays are just a step below them. They don't have the power. They don't have the Aaron Judge, the Giancarlo Stanton, the Aaron Hicks. They don't have that. What they do have is Vladdy Jr. and Bo Bichette, which hit their fair share of home runs and have arguably the 2 sweetest swings in baseball. Vladdy Jr., this shortened season, hit 9 home runs, batted just shy of .265, and his career, 2019 and 2020 is only years in the league. So the year before, he had 16 home runs and hit .270. Very solid right there. Bo Bichette only hit 5 home runs this year in this shortened season, but he had 37 hits and hit .301. And then the year before, 11 home runs and hit .307. So Bo Bichette, already through 2 seasons, a career average of over 300. And then Kevin Biggio is kind of a little lacking here. 8 home runs last year, hit .250. 16 home runs the year before and hit .240. But I think these young guys are extremely hopeful for the future. Like I said, in that AL East division, I think it's the Yankees going to win it this year, and then Blue Jays right on their heels. I think the Rays, unfortunately, are going to be out of the picture. They've traded away Blake Snell, and there's just no way that young team can put together a season like they did last year. I don't think Randy Rosarina can come out and hit 31 postseason hits or 33, whatever it was, and 7 home runs in the postseason. Like I said, no more Blake Snell. I still think the Rays will have one of the best bullpens in baseball, but their starting pitching staff took a huge hit with the loss of Blake Snell. And then, of course, with Zunino had a big postseason. I don't think that's going to happen again. Brandon Lau had a couple big hits that I just don't see it happen again. So I think the Rays are going to be out of the picture playoff-wise this year. I hope they make it. Obviously a Rays fan, but I think the Blue Jays can steal this division from the Yankees possibly, but if not, come out as a wild card and win a wild card round and maybe advance past the ALDS. because this team so young, you add George Springer, which is just a mentor to everybody in the outfield at the plate. Like I said, Randall Grichuk in the outfield's been around, been at San Francisco, been with Blue Jays for 4 or 5 years, or 3-4 years now. But he's another veteran outfield presence. So you got to have a good mix of the older veterans accompanied with the younger guys, and I think this team really has it all now. Now they just need to learn to work together. So maybe this isn't a team that I expect to see World Series bound in the next 1 or 2 years, but give Vladdy, give Bichette, give Kevin Biggio 3, 4, 5 years in the league, and I think this is a team you see making a World Series run because they have all the tools now after adding George Springer into that mix, both in the field and at the plate. He's really at the top of the game for outfielders in the league. So that's all I got to say about that. For the question of the day, the hitter, the guy, his name is Joe Carter, of course. Now you probably realize that. Like I said, you're gonna recognize the walk-off and the home run strut, but Joe Carter is your answer. The walk-off home run to win the 1993 World Series for the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, 2-minute warning. Thanks for watching.